recently we did our latest campaign for ourselves, something that we always enjoy doing, and I think it's worth saying, one of the few to do it in this industry. I think for an industry that tells clients to spend its hard-earned money on campaigns and branding and marketing, it's interesting how few agencies out there practice what they preach, and it's something I'm really proud of, that over 30 years we have sustained a spend year on year in our own direction, invested in the propaganda brand, and that we've grown that as we've grown. And what I thought would be really good, because last week we did our latest piece of work, is to go back and look at some of the historic campaigns, in particular the notable ones, which I think chart the thinking behind the growth of the agency. And that's what we're going to do in the next series of films. We've always had opinions. There's no doubt about that. I think we're renowned for it, and I'm really aware as the chair of this business that we occasionally push the barriers of arrogance and confidence, which really isn't a deliberate thing, but I think that when you are good at what you do in this business, it is very hard to talk about that in a way that doesn't sometimes come across as arrogance. So I always encourage the team just to tell the truth and let the audience out there work it out for themselves as to where we sit in terms of that divide. But the series of ads that we are going to look at, I just want to say again, they're not just creative and messaging within their own right. They are by default a commitment to spend and spend on marketing. And there was always two questions that most clients would ask by default. Firstly, they would say, if you're that good at what you do, why have you not built a brand yourself? And that one used to really wind me up. And as most of you that follow me on here know, it was a direct result of that one question that led to us developing, investing in, and then committing many years of our life to the emergence of the Illamasqua brand. We grew a brand in a sector that was impenetrable, and we grew a brand that 3 years after we pressed the go button on that launch, were deeming that makeup brand to be the hottest brand of the planet, on the planet, and that subsequently went on and was sold to the Hook Group for many tens of millions. So moving on from that, the other point was always asked by clients in the form of, yeah, you're asking me to spend money, where do you spend your own? Do you not do what it is you're asking me to do? Where's your ad campaign? Where's your brand film? Where's your A, B, C, D, and E? And I guess that's the best question of all, because I don't think the answer is good enough when people say, well, you know, it's a barber's haircut scenario and they brush it off. I'm sorry, if you're into the branding, the marketing piece, you have to invest in it. And I think if you don't, it's evidence that you don't believe in it. So we've always ploughed back big numbers into our own branding, and I will sit here today with all confidence and no arrogance and say that's resulted in a position for us 30 years in where there is no direct new business activity carried out here. The phone rings, and that rings because of what we've done over those years, that continued and sustained investment in our own brand. So when we next have a client in where we're asking them to do the same, we can do that with a point of integrity. So the next few films look at some campaigns. Enjoy them. I'll give you the thinking behind them.